Fighter built in the U.S., permanent installation. Pretty unique ride and one of the most highly themed rides of its kind in the world. The elevator you see on the end of the bay is what we use to take the cars up and down. Every day they bring the cars down, they do visual inspection, they check the brakes, they check the bogies, they check everything basically where I'm standing with the cars that as they come down. And then Lyle just sent up 3 cars in about the last 15 minutes so we can get ready for your ERT. But the opportunity here is we have a full shop to be able to work on things as we go. Our process is pretty similar to what it is in other parks. They're here as early as, say, 5 o'clock in the morning for a 9 a.m. start, 10 a.m. start. They're doing full inspections of the cars themselves. They're inspecting the track. They're inspecting the brakes out on the track, everything else that is from a mechanical standpoint. And then once they're satisfied and they've cycled through their cars and checked the blocks out on this particular ride, they then turn the ride over to operations. Those guys are the ones that get a chance to ride it first, and then they ride it at least once an hour to be able to check, to see, to hear, to feel if there's any changes through the day. This ride is a pretty complicated staging and riding system through the blocks because there are 7 cars and we're capable of having 2 cars in the station and 5 cars on the track at any given time, which allows us the opportunity to push a good number of people through here, provided everybody is paying attention and getting in the car as they should. You guys are always very good about that, but I can't say that's the way it is with GP people and trying to figure out what's going on. So with that, I guess I'll open it up. Questions about the ride itself? Anybody? What we're going to do, if you don't, we got one. They're all set up slightly different. So this has a shop that's below the load platform because of the configuration of the ride. The Tennessee Tornado, as an example, has a shop that you drive through. When you get in and you load and you make the turn and you come in, that's the maintenance shop for the Tennessee Tornado. So they work on the trains there on a daily basis. Wild Eagle has a shop that's adjacent to the brake run, and there's a shift table there to be able to take a train off, roll it back, and work on it in their particular shop. Thunderhead has the transfer table that you have that's right after the brake run, and they do all their visual inspections from underneath that transfer table on a daily basis. They transfer a train over, send it into the station, and then inspect the second train, and then they operate that way. On Blazing Fury, the maintenance area is right behind where the dispatch station is. And there's a huge, well, I wouldn't say huge, I guess a room about this big in that building where they have, they store additional trains. They have kind of a pseudo machine shop in there and some other things that they do some work there. And then when we do off-season and in-season teardowns, we actually have a maintenance shop that is off park property, still on our property, but off the park. And that's where they do teardown, NDT, all of that during the year. So instead of, I mean, I know lots of you guys go to events and hear Tom Revy speak. A lot of parks for their wood coasters send their trains to PTC to have Tom tear them down and rebuild them, and then they ship them back. We can do all of that here. So that's what we do. It doesn't matter what it is. These trains, they do the work here, but like as an example, we might take a complete train for the Tennessee Tornado off, take it to that shop. They'll completely dismantle the train down to its individual parts, x-ray it, and then reassemble it with new fasteners and new, new waste gear on it. So, and then have it inspected by a third-party inspector before it goes back into service. So we do that. Our train has its own roundhouse and its own maintenance area in the roundhouse for our 110-ton coal-fired steam train. And Lightning Rod's shop is actually below, its inspection shop is actually below the track as well, and the transfer elevator on it is outside the building. And so it lifts and drops outside the building, and then the train gets pushed into the building under the track, and then and that's where the second train storage is, and the main train storage is in the station.
So what's the reliability like of this roller coaster? And if you have problems, are they persistent problems that you see over and over again, or is it pretty reliable?
It's been, I mean, everything's a little fiddly. It's a German engineered ride, and it's a very complicated control system. So they're very exacting in detail. So we, it's been running since 2007, and it's pretty reliable now. But every coaster has its break-in. But we've been very, very pleased with this ride and what we've been able to do. We continue to tweak it a little bit. We have, I think a lot of folks probably know, we've done some curve reprofiling inside. We've done some other things. We continually update the trains based on new engineering and new bulletins from Gerstlauer, things like that. I think the only thing we haven't done on this ride is we still have the original over-the-shoulder restraints. They have gone to a newer train configuration with the lap bar restraint. I don't see us doing that in the foreseeable future because ours are pretty reliable the way that it is. But it's been a good ride. I mean, best new ride of 2007 when it opened has been very. It was a game changer for us in 2007, and has continued to be a very reliable ride.
Is Gerstlauer a good company to work with?
Yeah. Okay. They have Siegfried Gerstlauer is a very talented designer.
Okay.
He designed this ride. He designed Fire Chaser, and a lot of the changes a lot of the things that Fire Chaser does, he drew up kind of on a napkin and said, "Is this what you mean?" And he made that ride into really what it is in a very difficult setting with that hillside. This is really the first time they ever did an indoor configuration with a ride like this, and the whole team really embraced it. This was really one of their first big installations in the U.S.
Okay.
And they've been tremendous to work with for us.
I love their sky rollers.
Yeah.
Those types of rides.
Anybody else? Interesting you should ask. When this ride was built in 2007, as I said, it was the best new ride in the industry. Was about $18 million, which was the largest largest amount we'd ever spent on one single attraction as Dollywood at the time. Got a lot of press on the industry because of the theming and the different things that we were doing. And we had Universal and Disney engineers coming up to try to find out how we did it for only $18 million. And I had an Imagineer tell me that had Disney built this ride in Orlando, this ride would have cost them somewhere between $70 and $100 million. Why? Because it's Disney. No, I mean, they are very exacting in what they do from an Imagineering standpoint. I mean, I'm sure they would have gone to a completely different, you know, they would have tricked it out even more with animatronics and a lot of different things that they do. And they probably would have dual tracked it.
They probably would have taken 5 years
You
to
know,
build it too.
so that they can, you know, so they can handle the capacity. I mean, this is a pretty high capacity ride for us. You know, in a park that does between 2.5 and 3 million guests a year, that's pretty good. When you're doing 13 million, 14 million, 15 million, you know, at a Disney park, you need to have more capacity. So it probably would have been this plus another one or more, you know.
It's our baby lift. Straight up vertical. We've got this elevator on the side here, so if the car does stop on the lift, we can ride the elevator up and get you out.
That first drop there.
I mean, we'll run all rides down to 30, 40. I said, if you just want to go right down the steps right here to your left and right in front of the building, and inside we'll queue you up and let you ride.
Thank you.